Now I would like to read about part C of my intermittent fasting journey article. The title of part C, there's a title for the part C, is My Suspected COVID-19 Symptoms and Intermittent Fasting. So there is one resource I included in my article. It is from www.wbur.org website, Common Health and Intermittent Fasting Immune System. The name of that resource article is Magic Soup: How Intermittent Fasting May Enhance the Immune System. Yeah, to me, water and electrolyte solution are magic soup to me. When the widespread COVID-19 infection started in the US, I thought carefully whether I would continue my intermittent fasting or I would stop practicing and eat regularly. It was a difficult decision to make since I have doubt whether the immune-enhancing effect of intermittent fasting will work for the deadly COVID-19 infections. Even though I have experienced the immune-related benefits of IF, I was not sure whether IF would work for COVID-19, which is a newly emerging viral infection in 2020. Additionally, the symptoms and sufferings of COVID-19 are very threatening since we learn every day through media about the first-hand patients' experiences sharing and reporting. There cannot be research studies that investigate the effect of IF in preventing and combating COVID-19 so far. Therefore, it has been a tough decision to keep practicing IF during these COVID days. After thinking seriously, I made a bold decision. That I would keep practicing IF amongst the high likelihood of contracting COVID-19 infections. Making these decisions and implementing it involves two thought processes. Making this decision and implementing it involves two thought processes, and one is having belief that my immune system will stay enhanced by IF and will work to combat COVID if I get infected. And thought process B is I want to experiment with how IF will work to prevent me from COVID-19. Therefore, I kept practicing IF. Starting from mid-March in 2020, COVID-19 has already started spreading alarmingly in Columbia, South Carolina. In late March, I suffered mild symptoms for 2 to 3 days that made me think of COVID-19. They are mild cough, sore throat, and mild fever in the late evening. I became concerned, but I kept practicing IF. My symptoms were much relieved when I reached 14 to 15 hours of IF, and I began to feel normal when I completed my IF after 16 hours of fasting. I have also read that our immune system functions at its maximum capacity when we reach 14 to 16 hours of fasting, but I could not remember the source. Those first-hand experiences have convinced me to keep practicing my IF daily. Then I got to learn about the timely research findings of how COVID-19 causes deadly lung symptoms. The preliminary research highlighted that some infected patients died of pneumonia. The later research found out that the main cause of mortality is not pneumonia, but the inflammation of lung capillaries, Injured and inflamed lung capillaries with blood clots cannot complete the gaseous exchange of lungs, oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange, which takes place in our lungs capillaries, in specific at the capillaries of our lungs alveoli. After learning the latest research findings, I became determined to stick to my daily IF practices during the COVID-19 days. My former personal belief in IF became supported by scientific research findings since I previously learned that IF intermittent fasting reduces inflammation. Although I have not seen any research studies on the effect of IF in preventing or combating COVID-19, I believe that IF will help combat COVID-19's cause of death due to cause of death because of its inflammation reduction. Overall, I associated my former knowledge on the molecular level benefits and mechanisms of IF. I associate with my former knowledge with this latest COVID-19 research finding. Throughout my IF journey, intermittent fasting journey, I have researched about the benefits of IF and how IF works to yield those benefits. That is the psychological and immunological mechanisms of IF. When I learned about the effect of IF on inflammation during my early phase of adopting this health behavior, I was motivated to bear the hunger pain of IF and keep practicing. This is because I had suffered some illnesses that are associated with inflammation, such as frequent low back pain or arthritis pain, mainly the ankle joints, sometimes finger joints. Additionally, through the following resource from Harvard University, I learned that IF helps clear out toxins and damaged cells. So IF is effective in lowering risks for cancer and enhanced brain function. That resource article is from Harvard University. Learning these benefits of practicing intermittent fasting, in fact, enabled me to relieve my concerns, family history of cancer, and challenges as an international student. When COVID-19 started to affect Columbia, South Carolina, our family was concerned and started storing our essential food. Our budget concern having me as an international student prevented us from hoarding. In addition, two adults in our family practice IF, so we do not need much food in our daily life for a family of three. This meant we could avoid hoarding. I would say practicing IF is really helpful during this pandemic, relying on my first-hand experiences. Since we need a strong immune system and we have to share food availability with other members of the community. So in my part C, I also included useful websites for additional information. Thank you.